get this stream up and going. What is everybody doing? Wonderbro here with Vacate Fear. Wasn't sure if I wanted to say what's up or what is everybody doing, but there we go. Let's make sure the mic is working today. We are good. All right. Let's get the stream pulled up on my end here. There it is. Okay, we should be good to go. What is up, everybody? What is up? We're back on track today with the time of the stream, which we did last night's stream about the right time too. We just did a stream that I wasn't expecting earlier this morning. Really good. If you haven't checked that out, okay. If you haven't checked out yesterday morning's stream or today, I'm not really sure. Okay. I'm not really sure. I'm losing track here. Our last stream. There we go. That's the easiest way to put it. If you haven't checked out our last stream, I highly, highly recommend it. We go over a lot of important points in that stream. It was a good one. Highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. Today we're going to be talking about fighting anxiety is done multiple ways, right? Wow, triple streams. It's not for me though. For me, it doesn't feel like a triple stream because I've been asleep since then. I'm a night owl, so I just woke up. I just woke up not long ago. So why is there $5 next to my name? What? What? Are you talking about up here in the tip ticker? I don't update that. That gets updated automatically. If you've tipped $5 in the past, that's why you're seeing your name up there. I think that's what you're talking about. I think. I don't know. That confused me at first, but that's the only thing I can think of. Um, what's up, both Blakes? Sanchez, what's up, dude? You're early. Hank, JK Beats, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. So, fighting anxiety can be done multiple ways. All right, fighting anxiety can be done multiple ways. This is the topic of today's stream, and we're going to get going on that in just a second, I promise. Let me drop the link to the Discord first. I'm trying to remember to do that. If the YouTube notification has been letting you down, sign up on our Discord. Click on our Discord. Why nothing playing? Why nothing playing? He might need to refresh the stream. I'm not really sure. Glad to see your videos. Thanks, Hank. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, this it doesn't feel like a triple stream to me because I've been asleep since the last stream. I've slept my 8, 9 hours since the last stream. So this is a new day to me. This is a new day to me. I know it's weird. Being a night owl, this is how the cookie crumbles. But we're going to get this stream started in just a second, guys. Fighting anxiety is done in multiple ways. So we know to fight, right? We know the fight is the wrong idea. We know to fight keeps us sensitized. But what is fighting? There's multiple ways that you can be fighting with your anxiety and not even realize that you're fighting with your anxiety, keeping you in that sensitized boat. So today's stream, the point of today's stream is to make it very, very clear, okay, to make it very, very clear what are the different ways that you could be fighting, okay? Breakfast question mark? Dude, I had like a nachos lunchable for breakfast. Ugh. I know, I know. Healthy and nutritious. All right, guys, we're gonna get going here. So, fighting anxiety is done multiple ways. Now, if you've been here on the channel for a while, if you know what we're all about here on the channel as far as acceptance is concerned, okay, it's that to fight with your anxiety keeps you in the sensitized boat. This is what is considered second fear. To get involved with your thoughts and feelings and add this second fear, this is a fight. This is what keeps you sensitized. It's what sensitized you to begin with, and it's what keeping you sensitized now. So, let's go over the multiple different ways that you could be fighting your anxiety because there is multiple different ways. There are multiple different ways. Now, it's very, very common knowledge that if you're entertaining negative thoughts, if you have a very negative inner dialogue that you're keeping with yourself, this is obviously a fight, right? That's obvious. But what are some other ways that you could be fighting and maybe you're not even aware of it? So, too much positivity, trying to fight with those negative intrusive thoughts by trying to flip them into positives is just going to keep you drained all day long. It's a very stressful act. The problem with trying to get involved and fight with your negative intrusive thoughts even if you're not being negative, even if you're trying your best to be positive, you're still creating a fight. You're still creating a struggle. You are fueling these thoughts. You are giving them way too much airtime, right? So you may think, well, I'm not being negative anymore. So yes, I've got a lot of inner dialogue, but it's not negative anymore. It's positive. Well, I guess that's a good first step. But if you're going around all day long beating this thing to death, trying to get rid of your negative intrusive thoughts by flipping them into positives and trying to get rid of your feelings by trying your best to just repeat your positive statements all day long and argue with these thoughts as they come, you're still creating a fight. I'll give you that. I will say, I guess it's good that you've went from negative to positive. Like obviously, I guess that's a step in the right direction. But you're still creating a fight. So I see it happen all the time. A lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to drop second fear and I'm going to stop fighting. But all they've really done is they've went from a negative fight to a positive fight. But that fight is still very much there. So you're fueling these thoughts. You're fueling these feelings. Anytime you try to fight with them, even if you're trying to be positive, you are still showing the brain there's a problem where there's not a problem. You're still creating a problem just by getting involved. Even if it's no longer negative, just by getting involved, you are already signaling to the brain that there is something to be afraid of, that there is something to protect you from. You are creating a fight, even if it's not negative. So, like I said, I'll give you props. You went from negative to positive. But if you're still up in your head all day fighting, then you're still fighting. I don't really care what you're telling yourself. I don't really care what you're trying to flip your thoughts to. If you're fighting, you're fighting, regardless. If you're fighting, you're fighting, regardless. Now, some people might say, well, you've talked about how great a change of perspective can be. Yes, a change of perspective can be great as long as you're introducing that change of perspective and then dropping it and then going to non involvement, going to what we've been calling the silent observer, going to not fighting, right? But if you're sitting around all day long trying to use this change of perspective as a means to fight, then that's not right. Okay? We say that a change of perspective is great, but here's an example. This is how you should use that. Okay, you're starting to feel the symptoms of anxiety in the body. You're starting to feel the negative intrusive thoughts. Here's how you would correctly use a change of perspective. Okay, where here's these thoughts. I'm not going to get involved because that's a struggle. Here's these feelings. I know they are just the feelings of a tired body, tired nervous system. And then we go into being silent. And then we go into dropping involvement. And then we go into not fighting, right? But if you're sitting around all day long trying to change your perspective and use positivity to fight your feelings off and to fight with your negative thoughts, there's too much fighting going on. Even if it's not negative, that is still way too much fighting, and that is keeping you in the sensitized boat because it's telling your brain, when your brain sees you fighting tooth and nail like that, what do you think that's telling your brain? It's telling your brain that there's a fight. It's telling your brain that there's a problem. So don't think just because you've dropped the negativity that you're no longer fighting. If you're up in your head with this inner dialogue 24 hours a day, trying to fight these thoughts and feelings with positivity, that is still very much a fight. It might be better than being negative, I'll give you that, but it's still very much a fight. So if you're going to change your perspective, if you're going to use grounding statements or a mantra or a quick reminder, you need to be quick about it, and then you need to practice the most important part of the equation, which is the going silent, which is the not responding to the thoughts and feelings. Just let them play out. So thoughts and feelings can be there, but you yourself can be quiet. And if you're quiet, there's no way you're fighting. If you're quiet, there's no way you're fighting. So, I wanted to make it clear, and we addressed this on this morning stream, but it's such an important point that I really wanted to drive it home. There's multiple ways that you can be fighting your anxiety. Some people think as long as they're not being negative, then they're not fighting, but that's not exactly true. If you're trying to fight the thoughts and feelings with positivity, you're still, keyword, fighting. Keep that in mind. And that's why we like the term silent observer. That's why we say to just be quiet. That's why we say to not get involved with these thoughts and feelings. Because a fight can go down multiple ways. And as long as you're fighting, you're not making much progress. So keep that in mind. If you're going to use those positive tools to try to change your perspective and all this other stuff, that's great. But you still need to practice just being the silent observer. Introduce this stuff very briefly, change your perspective very briefly, as long as it leads to you being the silent observer, as long as it leads to you not getting involved, period. So, multiple ways you can be fighting. Ask yourself and be honest with yourself. I'm no longer being negative, but am I still trying to fight these thoughts and feelings with positivity? Am I still trying to fight? If the answer to that question is yes, you're not making very much progress, right? You're not making very much progress. You're still showing the brain that there's a problem by that fight. All right, you guys, and I just wanted to be very, very clear about this today. So, that is the point of today's stream. Be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I still fighting in some way, shape, or form by getting involved? If the answer to that question is yes, then you have found the problem. So we need to drop that and we need to switch to total non involvement. We need to turn off the fight altogether. How do we turn off the fight? We stop talking to ourselves about our thoughts and about our feelings, right? There's no way you could be fighting if you're not talking to yourself, okay? Point of today's stream. So I hope someone gets something from that. I hope someone takes something from that. And please be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself when you ask yourself that question. All right, chat. So we're going to read some comments real quick. I'm thankful for the streams because I had some strong symptoms today. They are definitely trying to get me to react. Don't get involved. Don't let them pull you back in with involvement, right? No fighting. That was my problem for months. I didn't realize it. I've made more progress now. Too much inner dialogue. That is awesome, Jess. Yeah, it occurred to me last night that this could be a problem for some people, and that's why I've been so dead set on making sure I address it. Hey, Wonder Bruh, what's up, man? How you doing? You were gonna get shadow banner any day now for putting all these pathetic and lazy, useless therapists out of business. Keep up the good work, hey man. What's up, Wonder Bro? What's up, everybody? What's up, Elliot? Welcome to the stream, dude. How you doing? Three things that I remind myself is be silent. If I'm not responding, I'm healing. Be consistent. Yes, I like that. I like that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with reminders. There's nothing wrong with little grounding statements. There's nothing wrong with this stuff. And I've talked about how this stuff can be helpful in the past, but you need to use this stuff and then drop it and practice not responding. Do you get the difference there? There's a difference between trying to force positivity all day long, which is just a fight, a fight, a fight, keeps the nerves on edge, and just reminding yourself of a grounding statement like if I'm not responding, I'm healing, and then practice not responding. Huge difference there. Huge, huge difference there, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew the huge difference there. All right, let's get these my internet is just ass, apparently. Excalibur's having trouble joining the stream. That's unfortunate. It'll be uploaded. I don't know if you can hear me, dude, but it'll be uploaded, so maybe you can catch it later. Let's get these lights going. I forgot to turn on my lights, chat. There we go. Oh God, I almost fell. That would have been great. Yeah, so there's a huge difference, chat, between using short little positive reminders to keep yourself grounded and trying to fight all day long with positivity. If you're trying to fight all day long with positivity, uh, it's not going to work out for you. Simply put, it's just not going to work out for you because there's still too much of a fight. Still too much of a fight there, if that's what you're trying to do. I myself, okay, I myself was guilty of this. I went from being very predominantly negative during my journey when it first started to trying to solve my thoughts and fight with them with positivity. Couldn't figure out why I remained sensitized. I was like, well, I'm not being negative anymore. I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to be realistic, but that's too much of a fight. That's still too much of a fight. It's still too much involvement. It's still just fuel to the fire. You are telling your brain that there's something wrong, okay, when you do this. So I was guilty of making this mistake, and I just don't want anyone else to make this mistake. And that's why we love the term silent observer. We love that term so much for that reason. All right, boom. It is that time, chat. It is that time for our after stream point cigarette. I don't know what you would call it. Let's get this phone on charge. I've been focusing on these three reminders for the past week, and thoughts are coming so much less. I feel way better. That is awesome, Cade. So be silent. That is key because if you're silent, there's no way you could possibly be resisting mentally. If I'm not responding, I'm healing. Yes, because you're no longer fighting, not trying to force positivity, not trying to, not being negative. If I'm not responding, I'm healing. Be consistent. Yes, day in and day out, you must practice being silent. What was your last symptoms that stuck around the longest in recovery, or was it just thoughts? The very strong sensations, okay, as soon as I started not fighting, and I mean truly not fighting, that means to drop trying to force positivity, that means to drop obviously the negativity. So when I first started to practice truly not responding and not getting involved, the very strong symptoms were the first to kind of die down and the first to ease up. But you're kind of left with some lingering symptoms for a while until you completely heal. So I still had the thoughts from time to time. I still had my moments. The strong, strong sensations of fear, they passed rather quickly when I started practicing true non-involvement, and they will for you too, because you're taking your foot off the gas. But you'll still have some lingering symptoms of some thoughts that come from time to time that revisit you. You'll still have some small symptoms here and there. You'll still have this symptom or that symptom, but it's a gradual healing, right? These things gradually fade. Don't get frustrated at yourself for the process. It is a gradual fading of the symptoms as the body begins to heal. Gradual fading. And I know we like to mix up the way that we put things here on the channel, but it's just to try to speak to everybody. It's just to try to get it to click for everybody. But the advice has always been the same, which is non-involvement, which is acceptance, which is floating, which is no second fear, which is the present moment, which is silence, whatever you want to call it. Do you see how all of these different labels are pointing at the same truth? Do you see how all of these different labels taught by all of these different great teachers are pointing at the same truth? I don't care if you put it the way Eckhart Tolle puts it, the present moment, silent observer. I don't care if you put it the way Moji puts it, which is to be the watcher. I don't care if you put it the way Dr. Claire Weeks put it, which is to float. I don't care what way you want to put it. It all points at the same truth, which is to stop fighting, and that applies to both trying to force positivity and just being negative in general. Any sort of involvement is a fight. So I don't care which teacher, which way that you like it put the best, it's still all pointing at the same truth, which is to drop involvement. To drop involvement, we drop the inner dialogue. I can hear you, got to come back every now and then. All right, bro. All right. Just keep refreshing if that's what you got to do. Like a roller coaster, not as intense, but still like, hello, I'm here. Not a problem though. Don't make that into a problem. Yeah, that was a question I had about it. If it was very gradual or if it would literally wake up one day and they're gone. Figured it was gradual, just didn't know. For most people, yes, it is gradual. It is gradual. It is so gradual in fact that there's not one day that you wake up and there's bells and whistles like, "Oh, I'm 100%." It's just a gradual reintroduction into normal everyday life, right? So gradual, it's like a fish, to a new fish tank. You slowly get used to it. You gradually heal, gradually heal. Um, okay, that's why I gotta stop drinking soda on stream. So disgusting. You gradually heal into the point where the symptoms and the thoughts come less and less and less. It's not like a grand moment. Does that make sense? It's not like a grand moment. I watched one of your older vids. You had a point when you said not fearing the thoughts, you're fearing the feelings. The thoughts are not important. Yeah, I mean that's another good way to put it too. That's another good point. You're actually afraid of the feelings, not so much the thoughts. Okay, so just drop the inner dialogue altogether, right? Just drop the inner dialogue altogether. Jess, thank you so much for the $20 tip. Thank you. I heard the little jingle. Thank you so much for that, Jess. I appreciate you. Let me update this right here. Thank you, Jess. That really helps me out, especially this time of year. Thank you so much. There we go. All right, let's get Jess up here on the stream MVPs. Your name will also be re-entered into the tip ticker that scrolls above the stream. So thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate you, Jess. If we could show her some love in the chat, please. We are always very grateful and thankful for our contributors here on the channel. It really helps me out. How do you tell if it's something serious or not? I feel like I missed a memo in my life where people know if they are in danger or not. If you're in danger, that means your life is in danger. If your life isn't in danger, you're not in true danger, right? So if you're in some sort of physical danger, you won't have time to think about it. You'll just act. We call this instincts. The anxiety and panic will do its job, and you will know how to react, and you will react in a way to try to save your own life. If it's not life threatening, if you are not in any sort of physical danger, then you are not in danger. You are under the spell of fear. There's a difference between fear and danger. Danger is a real threat to your physical being, in which case you will know what to do. You will act in the best way appropriately. And fear is living in your mind. Fear is living in your mind. So fear is about what might happen or could happen. Danger is right in front of you. That is the most simple, direct way to know the difference between fear and danger. Mine is like a few good days, then symptoms, then another good day, symptoms. They're not horrible with crazy thoughts like before. So you're definitely making progress. Keep it up. Past couple weeks I've been super depressed and feeling mentally off. I can't help but think I have something going on with. So if you think that you have something going on with you, you're stoking the fire, right? You're pouring gas on the fire. Now, I would never tell anyone to not go to the doctor. If you want to go get cleared by a doctor, I highly recommend that. And you should. You should go get cleared by a doctor. I assume that most of you have already been cleared by a doctor. And if not, if that's something you want to do, obviously you should do that before watching the channel. Um, but if you know you're dealing with anxiety, if you've been cleared by a doctor, yada yada yada, disclaimer, then you're just fueling the fire by all of this unnecessary thinking. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. You're just fueling the fire by all of this unnecessary thinking. Where is? Okay, there we go. There we go. Look at this one, guys. Which one do you guys prefer? All right. I need to get rid of that one. But yeah, anytime someone watches my channel, I go ahead and assume, obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I automatically assume that you've been cleared by a doctor. If you haven't and you feel like that would ease your mind, then obviously go for it. It's up to you. But yeah, if you've been cleared by a doctor, you're sitting around and there's way too much inner dialogue, there's way too much thinking, 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 instead of just letting those thoughts and feelings be, then that is the problem. Veggie, thank you so much for the $20 tip. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. We haven't even been streaming for 20 minutes yet. Thank you guys. I truly appreciate that. Wow. You guys are quite literally making a lot possible for Christmas this year, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I won't get too into it. I might get a little bit emotional, but thank you guys. Thank you guys so much, Veggie and Jess. Let's give them a round of applause in the chat, please. Thank you for supporting what I do. Thank you for making it possible for me to focus on this full time. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to all of my supporters, contributors. Thank you. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you guys, and I'm grateful for you guys. Don't forget, though, it is optional. It is optional. Don't feel obligated. Do not feel obligated. I love you all equally. Okay? Um, it's crazy how much time it takes for your nerves to heal. It's different for everybody. It's impossible to put a time frame on recovery because there's multiple factors that go into that. How dedicated to the advice are you? How much are you still fighting mentally? How severe is your sensitization? There's just so many different factors that it's different for everybody. The timeline is different for everybody. Don't even waste your time trying. Don't even waste your time trying to figure that out. Thank you. No problem, Veggie. Thank you for the tip. Truly appreciate it. So yeah, that's a very simple and direct way to tell the difference between fear and danger. Fear lives in the mind. Fear comes from some sort of thought form. Danger is in front of you, right? Very easy, direct way to tell the difference between danger and fear. Do you still want another monitor? Man, it would be sick to have a three monitor setup. Right now I've got a two. I'm using my TV as my main monitor, and I'm using a smaller curved monitor as my secondary. It's very convenient, and it helps the streams a lot because I can multitask with two monitors. Um, I don't know where I'd even put a third one, to be honest with you. Not with this current setup. I don't know where I'd put it. Yeah, Elliot. So, if you haven't been cleared by a doctor, I would go get cleared by a doctor. That might help you stop worrying. Chances are it won't help you stop worrying. As long as you're fighting and getting involved with the thoughts and feelings, you're fueling the fire. And every doctor in the world can tell you that it's just anxiety. But if you're getting involved and fighting, everybody here knows exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter who tells you it's just anxiety. If you're getting involved in fighting, you're going to feel that fire regardless. You're going to feel that fire regardless. But obviously, I would recommend getting cleared by a doctor, especially if you're worried that it might be something else. Chances of it being something else is remotely slim, very, very slim. Um, but yeah, I would go for it anyway if you haven't. I don't have any sort of office, Jess. I've just got a little, well, actually, a pretty big section of my room dedicated to streaming. So I'm lucky enough to have a pretty big area, and I use more than half of it for my streaming setup. Maybe one day we'll have like an actual office for all of my equipment. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's very tempting to get involved. That's the thing. So this is the main practice, really. It's very tempting to get involved, and out of habit, you want to get involved, and that's the struggle right there. It's very, very tempting because you're living under the false belief that if you don't get involved mentally, whether it be negatively or positively, this thing is gonna be stuck. This thing's not gonna leave you alone, etc., etc. But actually, the opposite is true. The more you get involved mentally, whether it's positive or negative, you are signaling to the brain that there's some sort of danger. I can't stop burping. That is so gross. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. But the opposite is true. The more you get involved positively or negatively, this is considered a fight, and this is what's going to signal to the brain to continue to try to protect you with anxiety. Time to stop fighting myself. Yeah, I like to say that. That's one of my important points that I like to make when I stream is to go and ask somebody who's been fighting with their mind, who's been fighting with their thoughts and feelings by getting involved mentally, whether it be positively or negatively. Ask them how far that has got them. Ask them how far that has got them. And they're all going to tell you the same thing. Well, every day I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. They're still fighting. It's been years, and this fight that they're putting up hasn't got them very far. So whether you're getting too involved by trying to fight by using positivity, or you're just plain out negative, if there's any sort of inner dialogue, chances are 90% of the time there's some form of fight there. There's some form of resistance there that is signaling to the body that there's a problem. Therefore, you get more anxiety. So that's why we like to say the key is to become the silent observer. The silent observer. That is the key. That is the key. I've been doing that nonstop, and it's just more suffering. Exactly. Craig knows what's up. I'm very proud of you for recognizing your own problem, Craig. I'm proud that you realize what the issue is, but now we've got to practice getting you out of that place by reminding yourself, if I'm not responding, I'm healing. It's not worth trying to force positivity because that's just a fight. You're pouring gas on the fire. It's not worth obviously being negative because that's just resistance. That's just more fear. It's not worth it either way you look at it. You have to drop all inner dialogue completely. No matter what that inner dialogue is, I don't care if you're being negative, I don't care if you're being trying to force positivity, it's still a fight. So you have to drop the inner dialogue altogether and just allow your feelings and thoughts to be there with you remaining quiet, right? Well, it seems like you've been cleared recently. Elliot. So chances are, dude, yeah, you're just getting way too involved in thinking. You're just getting way too involved with these thoughts and feelings instead of just remaining quiet. I have to drive 2.5 hours for work tomorrow. Low key excited. Nice, dude. Where are you going? If you want to answer that on stream. It has not served me well, and it doesn't. It doesn't serve anybody well. Here's the problem. The more you get involved mentally, whether it's you trying to force positivity or you trying to flip thoughts around, you're still getting involved. You're still fighting. You're still putting up some sort of fight. You're still triggering the brain, telling the brain that there's a problem when you do that. And I know it's tempting not to, I know it's tempting to do that because you think you need to do it to feel relief, but you're actually accomplishing the opposite. Hey man, Cod Crazy, aka Will, has helped me out more than anybody knows, man. He's been a tremendous support here on the stream. He supported me for a long time. Shout out to that dude, bro. He's a real one. He's a real one, man. Yeah, but so today's stream and yesterday's stream has been highly focused on that. The fact that you might not think you're fighting, but if you're having some sort of inner dialogue that's based on your anxiety, you're fighting. You're fighting. Miguel, what's up, Wonder Bro? Been a minute. What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. It has been a minute. I recognize your name, but that feels like it's been forever. What's up? For those of you who don't know, anytime you see Clint Eastwood up there, it means I'm having a smoke off to the side. I just don't want to smoke around my setup because then I get ashes everywhere. And it's like an all black couch, so it's a huge pain in the ass. Huge pain in the ass to smoke over there. Just gets fucking everywhere. Hey man, I appreciate that, Will, dude, for real. What's up, Wonder Bro? What's up, man? I appreciate your uploads. I'm still hanging in there and trying to practice your method. I appreciate your hard work, bro. Hey, I appreciate you for watching. Keep going. Yeah, man, Elliot, I'm like 99% sure, bro. The more you practice not getting involved, okay, this isn't something more serious. That's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist, okay? So take that with a grain of salt, but practice the advice anyway and just watch what happens, okay? Practice the advice anyway and just watch what happens. Because I'm telling you, I can see so much in you that used to be in me when I was recovering, dude. David. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, anytime you see Clint Eastwood on screen, it's because I'm having a smoke, but I can still see comments. Thank you for the $5 tip, dude. Love you, bro. Thanks for healing me. So nice to hear that you're healed, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm proud of you. I will update that as soon as I'm back over there. Thank you so much for that, dude. Appreciate it. That really helps me out. Really, really helps me out. You guys are so generous. I appreciate you guys. I forget I forget who it was that I was talking to in the Discord, but hold on, let me get this right here. I forget who it was that I was talking to in the Discord that inspired this stream today and the stream yesterday. But I started to notice a pattern in the Discord chat that some people were trying to force positivity as a means to an end, which is just a fight, which is just keeping you sensitized. Even if you are think you're being quote unquote positive, you are still fighting and you are still signaling to the brain that there's a problem. So, it's a slippery slope with the positivity thing. And that's why I wanted to be very, very clear on that subject for these past 2 days. Do you have anything in mind that you need or want for Christmas? Honestly, dude, I'm focused on everybody else. Like, it's going to be a tough Christmas because this will be our first Christmas without my dad. Um, so I'm not really focused on myself. I'm focused on making Christmas just completely fucking awesome for everybody else. I'm going to do my best to make sure that happens. Because it is going to be a tough one, obviously, for everybody. It's going to be a bit weird. But I still want to spread some positivity and give some smiles. So I myself, I don't want to shit. I want to just focus on everyone else, and that's where all the contributes. Is that a word? That's where all the donation and tips are going towards buying everyone else gifts and stuff like that. I can say though I'm like 75% better than I was about 6 months ago after discovering your channel and practicing the two main keys. Keep at it though, right? That's important. You got to keep at it. I guess I'm making some progress even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. As long as you're not responding, you are healing. That was the title of a stream about 3 or 4 days ago. Make it simple on yourself. Trying to make your mind go blank, Bruce, is impossible. You're always going to have negative, intrusive thoughts that come and go. More so when you're sensitized, obviously. We're not trying to ask you to do the impossible. We would never ask that. You're going to have negative, intrusive thoughts. You're going to have feelings. The key is to you yourself not talk back to them, not log in mentally. Let those thoughts and feelings be there while you remain silent. That is the key. Contributions, yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Jess. I only have dizziness and off balance sinking feelings, so just keep at it. No matter what your symptoms are, if we're dealing with anxiety, then it's treated all the same, right? On probably my third major bout of sensitization, like I told you before, though, this time taking my time and truly practicing the two main keys. Been about 3 weeks or more of 100% devotion and making progress. That is awesome. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. As long as you're not responding, you are healing. You're going to have moments where you're tested, where you're very tempted to respond, where you're very tempted to mentally start talking to yourself. But as long as you remain quiet in the face of these feelings and thoughts, you are making progress because you're dropping the fight. You're dropping the fight and you will slowly return to your old self. Your old self is still there, chat. Everybody who feels like they've been robbed of who they truly are and they don't even know who they are anymore, understand that your true self, your non sensitized self, is still there. It's unharmed, it's untouched, it's ready to come back out. You just have to drop the fight. So, who you used to be is still very much there. And the sooner you quit fighting, just be more present, be silent, don't fight with the thoughts and feelings, the sooner that old self will start to come out. I promise you that. You can go from the absolute worst to feeling like your old self and feeling even better than your old self when you come out of this. So don't worry about that, chat. That's about how many bouts I experienced. Three. Three bouts, my last bout being the most severe. And that's when I was really like, I've got to wake up, I've got to do something about this. And then I started to figure out about acceptance and dropping the fight, and that's what made all the difference. That's what eventually made all the difference. Meditation wise, don't get too confused on terms, Jesse. As long as you're not responding, you are in a state of presence. As long as you are not responding, you are cutting the fuel away from the mind. As long as you are not responding, you are more present. Whatever you want to call it, don't get confused too much on terms. It's really not worth getting confused on terms. Let's keep it as simple as possible, especially for our sensitized people. And let's put it to you like this. As long as you shut up during thoughts and feelings, you're not involved. And if you're not involved, there's no way you could be fighting, right? I'm actually able to just observe the thoughts now and keeping quiet. Your advice has been more valuable than books and doctors and pills. Hey, I appreciate that, dude. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a therapist. If you're seeing a doctor, continue seeing your doctor. If you're seeing a therapist, continue seeing your therapist. If you're on medication, keep taking your medication. This is all stuff you need to talk about with your doctor. I am not a doctor, but I appreciate the compliment. You guys know I gotta throw in those disclaimers, right? So I need to shave, dude. This is getting long. It's getting long. So some and you have said they have been sensitized 3 times. So we keep these main keys forever, so we never go back? Question mark. Um, if you if you revert back to the same bad habits that put you in the sensitized boat to begin with, there is a chance you could resensitize, right? Obviously, just makes logical sense. But if you're sticking to the advice, there's no way you're ever going to go back there. There's no way you could possibly ever go back there because if you're sticking to the advice, there's just no logical way that you could sensitize your body over again, right? It just wouldn't happen. I'm sure you've said this over and over, but everything is so habitual for me. Since I've been doing this for so long, have you seen success for long termers, right? I don't even remember my non-sensitized me. Yes, I've seen people go from the worst of the worst of the worst. I've seen people go from, I myself went from pissing in 2 liter bottles and not showering to who I am today. I've seen people go from nonstop, constant, fear in that place as soon as they drop the fight, as soon as they stop the resistance, and as soon as they start to practice being the silent observer, that's what we've liked to call it here recently. I've seen tremendous amount of success. You can look up Wonder Bro anxiety recovery success. You'll find a video that I put together of a bunch of comments from people who are healed or healing. That needs a part two. That's been years ago. But we've seen a lot of success here on the channel. A lot of success. What's up, Claude? Welcome to the stream, dude. Hope you're doing well. Keep at it, man. Keep at it. Keep at it. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes time. I have to figure out how to give you a contribution. There's 2 ways you can go about it. That is optional. Keep in mind. Do not feel obligated. But if you'd like to, you can go directly through the PayPal shorter1993 at live.com, or you can close the live chat. There's a little arrow somewhere on chat or a little X. You can close that and you can click on that first link there. Sometimes my fear is way too intensive and I can't stand it at times like this morning. I keep thinking, when is it going to stop? Ironically, Craig, the more you continue to have this inner dialogue with yourself about when is it going to stop, you are basically asking for more. So here's the problem. When we have an inner dialogue that says, when is this going to stop? You might as well be holding up a big sign to your brain that says, please give me more. This is the problem because you're adding second fear. You are telling the brain by this inner dialogue that there is a problem. So the brain doing what the brain is designed to do gives you more anxiety to protect you from that problem. That problem, right? And that's the problem with that. And that's why we have to practice silent observation. Hey, that's awesome, David, man. You're making a lot of progress. I'm so proud of you, dude. Keep it up. Gotta barbecue these burgers and get dinner going. Love this channel and the discussion so much. This is way better than Meds or any other channel. I'm gonna watch this later and catch up. Love you all. Hey, Elliot, take it easy, dude. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Wonder Bro. You're the man. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. It is nice to have hope. Hey, the sooner you begin non-involvement, the sooner you begin not getting involved with these thoughts and feelings by being silent in the face of them, you'll start to make many great realizations. You will start to make many great realizations. Yes, I did not follow the 2 main keys the first time I was sensitized. I had no clue about acceptance. I didn't know what acceptance was. I had no clue about acceptance. I didn't know what acceptance was. The first 2 times I was sensitized, I went at it tooth and nail and just fought, and it was miserable. The third time I became sensitized because, again, I was falling right back into the same bad habits. I came out of my third bout of sensitization with real advice, acceptance, not getting involved, dropping the fight, and that's been years ago. Haven't looked back ever since. Haven't looked back ever since. All right, guys, I do have to switch to the BRB screen because I got to take a potty break. All right. All right, we're back. Um, I can't get rid of them. Don't try to get rid of them, Bruce. Don't try to do the impossible. Do not try to do the impossible. Don't try to get rid of the negative intrusive thoughts. Stop talking to them. Stop talking to them. They will get rid of themselves. The more you try to get rid of them by getting involved, which is that inner dialogue, talking to your thoughts, talking to your feelings, the more you stoke the fire. It's a habit. It's essentially a habit, guys. It's a habit. To want to have an inner dialogue with yourself about your thoughts and feelings, this is the struggle, this is suffering, this is second fear. But doing that is a habit. Nothing more, nothing less. It's a habit. So it can be very tempting to do that, but the more you do that, understand that you are fighting. Whether you're trying to get rid of the thoughts or force positivity or whatever it is you're doing, if you're mentally getting involved, you are fighting. You are fighting, and this is why you stay in this boat, right? Anytime I switch screens and come back, the lights get all weird. Hmm, interesting. Interesting. I think it was Cade in the chat earlier who said something like some grounding statements. If you're not responding, you're healing. These little reminders to yourself are fine as long as you're practicing being that silent observer. Maybe you do need a reminder to yourself from time to time, and that's okay. Probably because you're in a sensitized body. Probably because you're in a sensitized body. If you're experiencing strong anxiety symptoms or even panic, chances are you're in a body which nervous systems are popping off. The nervous system is popping off. It's very fragile. Okay, and that can create symptoms that seem to come out of quote unquote nowhere. But you need to ask yourself and be honest with yourself: how much inner dialogue are you contributing? Right? How much involvement is there? You need to be honest with yourself when you ask yourself that question. Got to be honest with yourself when you ask yourself that question. If you're in a sensitized body, which is causing sensations to come out of quote unquote nowhere, you need to ask yourself why you're in that sensitized body, how much involvement, how much fighting is going on behind the scenes with that inner dialogue. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Also, we had a $5 tip from David. I just seen that. You must have went directly through the PayPal, I believe. So that is fine. Thank you so much for that. But that's why I didn't see that notification if you don't use the link. It's fine. I'm glad I checked my phone though. Thank you so much for that, David. I appreciate you, dude. Seriously, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Glad I checked that and didn't miss that. Thank you so much. I think that's like the biggest downfall for most people is that they're under the false belief that if they don't get involved mentally, whether it be trying to force positivity or thought flip or whatever, um, they're under the false assumption that if they don't get involved mentally, it won't leave them alone, where actually the opposite is true. Not sure where to turn next, so stop trying to turn anywhere, right? The key is to get into a place of non-involvement. So these thoughts and feelings are very much there. That's fine as long as you're not responding. You're the silent observer. There's no inner dialogue, right? Because that inner dialogue is where that fight is born. Just being present and not getting involved, I realize the thoughts and feelings are not you. They just completely random. The mind makes things worse. Exactly, exactly. And this is what we got to continue practicing. So, congrats, dude. Keep it up. Keep it up. So thinking about it brings on attacks. I do worry about the symptoms. Yes. So if you fear a panic attack, you're more likely to have panic attacks. The reason behind that is the body doesn't know the difference between you worrying and a real threat to your life. So if you're constantly having a negative inner dialogue, this is fighting, this is resistance, this is second fear. This is what causes the body to then have more anxiety, more panic because The brain, the body, does not know the difference between you sitting around having a negative inner dialogue and a real threat. So what you've got to do is you've got to let these negative intrusive thoughts come without saying anything, remain silent. You've got to let these feelings come without saying anything, remain silent. Because the body does not know the difference between your negative inner dialogue and a real threat to your life. So when you have a lot of negative inner dialogue, when you're entertaining a lot of negative inner dialogue, you ask the body for more protection. You ask the body for more protection. You ask the body for more protection when you do this. So the key is to let thoughts and feelings come without involvement. Stop talking to yourself. That is the key. Stop talking to yourself. And that's not to say we're not asking you to do the impossible and to get rid of every negative intrusive thought. Thoughts and feelings will come, but there's no input from you. You're remaining silent in the face of them, and this stops the fight. This stops the fight. You stop fueling the fire. So I know it's very tempting to get involved mentally when you experience these thoughts and feelings, but keep in mind that's what is keeping you ultimately from healing when you do that. By dropping the involvement, Megan, by dropping the involvement, fear is born when you start to resist and fight mentally. So you have to remind yourself, shut up. Shh. I like to be very simple in my approach. So in order to heal, you have to stop getting involved with these thoughts and feelings. Anytime you get involved mentally, you're adding what is called second fear. And to stop doing this, you have to remind yourself, do not get involved with the thoughts and feelings. That means to mentally start to talk to yourself about them. Just be quiet. Shush, shut up. Whatever you'd like to tell yourself. I used to like to tell myself, shut up, we're not getting involved. We're going to remain silent. These thoughts and feelings can come. I'm not going to mentally get involved. But it's whatever you want to tell yourself. But the key is to be the silent observer because there's no way you could be fighting or resisting if you are the silent observer because resistance and fight is born through the inner dialogue, right? And the more you practice this, the more you'll start to realize these thoughts and feelings weren't the problem. It was my involvement that was the problem. It was my involvement that was causing the true suffering, right? The more you'll start to realize this, the more you practice this. So I know it's tempting. I know it's very, very tempting. But this is the issue, right? This is the issue. Any sort of fight, which is mentally done by the inner dialogue, right? Is resistance. Resistance is pain. Resistance is suffering. Resistance is what keeps you in that sensitized place. It's what continues to tell your body that there's a threat. So we have to drop that inner dialogue. Let the thoughts and feelings be there, the negative intrusive thoughts as they come and go, the feelings as they come and go, but drop that inner dialogue. There's no longer an inner dialogue from you. It's just observation, silent observation, accepting observation of the thoughts and feelings, no involvement. Claude, thank you so much for the $20 tip. Says fantastic show, love the stream. Thank you so much, Claude. Appreciate that. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for that, dude. Truly, truly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Let's get you added to the stream MVPs. Thank you so much. Make sure I spell your name right. There we go. Thank you so much for that, dude. Thank you, thank you. Wow, we've got a long list today of people that we should be thankful for. What are you doing? Long list of people we should be thankful for today. Jess, Veggie, Miguel, David, Claude, thank you guys so much for your contributions. Truly appreciate it. It happens, Megan. It happens. It's a learning experience, right? Don't beat yourself up. It's a learning experience. You know, what we call setbacks are nothing more than a learning opportunity. A learning opportunity. What are you doing? What are you doing? You smell good. You got a bath yesterday. You still smell good. You still smell good. A lot of people do make that mistake. Excuse me, Nova. I have to stand up. You're so heavy. A lot of people do that, make that mistake. You know, they do good for a week, they do good for a week and a half, not getting involved, and then they have some strong feelings, revisit them, so to speak, and they go right back into involvement. Right? It's a very easy mistake to make, but that's why consistency and dedication is key. Very easy to make those mistakes. That's why a lot of times we practice being present, which is to put the focus on the moment, because it can be very slippery, right? You can easily start to mentally get involved, which is a fight, um, almost out of habit, and that's why we try to give tools to help ground people. That's why we try to give tools to help people not get involved, and the present moment is one of those tools. So to pick something in the present moment to put the attention on while you accept the thoughts and feelings will help you stay grounded and not get involved. It's why we try to give little tools to help people accomplish this because, at the end of the day, it can be slippery at times. And I get that. I fully get that. I would do good in the moment. Then once I got home, I would just obsess over negative thoughts about that situation. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, JK. It's like I said, it can be a slippery slope. And that's why we try to give people little tools to remain non involved. That's why we try to give little tools. That's why we try to give people, you know, reasons as to why getting involved is a problem. That's why we try to convince people, look, this is why you need to be the silent observer. We try to give people motivation. We try to give people a new way of looking at it so that they can um, resist that urge to get involved, right? Because it can be strong. It's a habit. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for the $20 tip, dude. I truly appreciate it. Glad I was saying your name right. But yeah, that's why we try to point people in the right direction, and we don't just say, um, you know, stop fighting. we try to break it down further than that because it is a slippery slope. You do get more involved mentally than you think you do, especially when you're first starting to practice this. And that's why we try to put it a million different ways, and we try to make people understand, because I know how tricky it can seem at first. Come here, Nova. Come here, come here, come here. Sit. Good girl. I'm starting to get a little bit peckish. I need something to eat, chat. What's up, Gordon? Welcome to the stream, dude. Whew. How you been, Gordon? This goatee's getting long. It's that time, chat. It is that time. I'm glad you're making progress, JK. Keep it up, dude. Keep it up. Oh, wait. It would probably help if I... Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, better. It's easy to fall down that rabbit hole, dude. It's really easy. You think you're doing yourself a favor with all that mental involvement, and you think you're doing the right thing for yourself and trying to solve this, and you're actually creating more of the problem. So it's very easy to fall down that rabbit hole. Shoot, I'm getting hungry, chat. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go get something to eat. Alright, chat. How long have we been streaming? About an hour? Okay, guys. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I am like starving, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. I hope somebody took something from this stream. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just always being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for choosing my channel as your source of information. I appreciate it, guys. I love you. I'll see you over on the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Thank you so much for all you do, and just know that I am forever grateful. I love you guys, and until the next one, let's get a good one. There we go. That's better.